Hi, my name's Sheehan, and today I'd like to talk about the albums of Elliott Smith. And I'd like to go through these 6 wonderful collections of songs, exploring some of the highlights, as well as putting them in an order from my least favourite to my favourite. Now, that might be a bit misleading because I love all of his albums, but nevertheless I thought it'd be good fun just to do a little video ranking them. Now first up I've got his self-titled album from 1995, and you know, really good album. Some of the songs here are just so outstanding and so hauntingly beautiful. It begins of course with Needle in the Hay. And on his arm, he's that charm around his neck, strong and thin, calling a friend just to cash some check. He's acting dumb, that's what you come to expect. Needle in the hay, needle in the hay, needle in the hay, needle in the hay. Etc. And there's some you know, other really cool songs like Coming Up Roses. I like Single File as well. Christian Brothers. And I like that song Southern Belle. Southern Belle's got that really cool part in the middle which goes how come you're not ashamed of what you are, and sorry that you're the one she got, etc. I really love that bit in that song. And the reason why probably it's my least favourite Elliott Smith song is because I think some of the songs, particularly kind of in the second side near the end of the album, are a bit forgettable for me. They're okay, but they don't really stay in the memory so much. The next album I'd like to talk about is Roman Candle, which is the first release back in '94, when Elliott Smith was of course with Heat Miser as well, as he was with a couple of his other albums. But yeah, I mean, I think this is such a cool album, I really do. It's very short, it's got 9 songs, but there's so many good songs on this album. And maybe because it's quite short, there's not much filler in there. There are a couple of tracks which I think are pretty forgettable, but I love, I think it's No Name 1, Condor Avenue. Roman Candle itself is a good song. The very last track is an instrumental, Kiwi Mad Dog 2020. Sounds like The Shadows, but I just love that track. It's got such a special feeling about that song. It's just brilliant. And Last Call. I love Last Call. Last call, you're sick of it all, asleep at home. Told you all and goodbye. Well, don't you know one day it'll come to haunt you, that you didn't tell him quite the truth. You're a crisis, you're an icicle, dreams and reminders, so on. Such a fantastic, powerful and gripping song. My next favourite album by Elliott Smith is Figure Eight, which was released in 2000, and it was Elliott Smith's big studio release, recorded in LA, also parts of it in Abbey Road. He was a massive Beatles fan, and it was his last album he released himself, although From a Basement on the Hill was released after he died. And again, like the other albums, full of great songs. I think Son of Sam, the first track, is one of the best songs he ever wrote, and such a intricate chord sequence, great melody. And I also love the songs LA and Stupidity Tries. The album's very long. Maybe if I was being super critical, a couple of the tracks could have been left out. Well, that's where it is in my ranking. I love the song Colour Bars. I see colour bars when I come. Sergeant Rock broke the key off in a lock to where I come from. Sir, we have no power in the air. The battle's underground, laying low again, high on the sound. The 1998 album XO was the first album I knew of Elliott Smith. I got into him a bit late, and you know, this album just really knocked me sideways when I first heard it. Particularly the first track, Sweet Adeline, which I think is probably my favourite Elliott Smith song. I don't know if you've ever had an experience of knowing exactly where you were when you heard a song. I remember being in London by the British Museum on a cold night and putting this on. My friend bought me this album, Sweet Adeline. When it just came into that middle section, just really took my breath away when the whole band comes in. Cut this picture into you and me, burn it backwards, kill this history, make it over, make it stay away. Oh hey, they'll sing the ending that love started to say. Sweet Adeline, something like that anyway. And you know, you hear that middle bit where the chords suddenly get stretched. We hear those intervals. It's kind of mediant relationships. So powerful, so moving. So that's what I love about Elliott Smith. The chord sequences can be so interesting and so unlike most stuff out there. And then you've got, of course, other great songs like Waltz Number 2. First a mic, then a half cigarette, singing Kathy's Cloud. That's the man that she's married to now. That's the girl that he takes around town. She appears composed, so she is, I suppose. Who can really tell? She shows no emotion at all. Stares into space like a dead China doll. I'm never gonna know you now, but I'm gonna love you anyhow. And I love Independence Day, such a terrific song. And the song Everybody Cares, Everybody Understands. I mean, that song just really packs a punch. The lyrics are fantastic there as well, and I love the kind of Mobius loop chord progression right at the end of that track as well. And it really kicks you in the guts where the piano comes in on that track. So yeah, XO, fantastic album. You know, if I could be super critical, you know, perhaps some of the tracks around the middle of the album don't really do it for me. Songs like Amity and Bled White and Pitzela. But overall, this is just a really terrific album. The next album is Either Or. This album released in early 1997 on the Kill Rock Stars label. I think for many just cemented Elliott Smith's genius. Just the sheer lo-fi production. Apparently he recorded some of the tracks, you know, in his girlfriend's living room and he couldn't be too loud and all this kind of stuff. There's just such a haunting atmosphere in this album as well. And the lo-fi recording techniques just, I think, add to the immediacy of this album. And it's full of great songs, some of the greatest songs, I think, of the 90s. We start with Speed Trials. He's pleased to meet you underneath the horse in the cathedral, etc. Such a great start to the album. Then we have Alameda, just such an outstanding track with such an expressive and unusual chord progression that the song modulates a couple of times into unexpected keys. I think that's the great thing about Elliott Smith as well. You know, he doesn't just follow the crowd, just doing, you know, your 1, 4, 5 chords in whatever key. He's always testing the boundaries, and that makes his music so interesting. You walk down Alameda, shuffling your deck of trick cards over and everyone, like some precious only son. Face down and bow to the champion. You walk down Alameda, looking at the cracks in the sidewalk, thinking about your friends, how you maintain all of them in a constant state of suspense. Your own protection, I never pay attention, no, nobody broke your heart. You broke your own, 'cause you can't finish what you started. And then Ballad of Big Nothing as well. I mean, that song is just so moving, and particularly near the end of the track. Pictures of Me, again, one of my favourite Elliott Smith tracks. maybe why this album isn't like completely at the top, and it could easily be right at the top for me. A couple of tracks which everyone loves, like Angeles and Between the Bars, and 2:45 a.m. And this brings me to my favourite Elliott Smith album, which is From a Basement on the Hill. And this might be a controversial choice because Elliott Smith, of course, died before this album was released, and we never know for sure, you know, what tracks Elliott Smith wanted to include on this album, or whether he would have been happy with some of the arrangements, etc. But nevertheless, it is just an outstanding collection of songs. It really is a terrific album, and I think a fitting crowning achievement to this remarkable body of work. I mean, the songs are just so strong. You know, we begin with Coast to Coast, Let's Get Lost, which I think is one of his most beautiful songs, and the way he delivers it vocally as well. Pretty Ugly Before, very moving song, I think. Don't Go Down, Strung Out Again, all fantastic songs. Twilight, that is such a beautifully sad song about depression, I think. It's such a wonderful, such an amazing song. And Memory Lane, such joyous, upbeat music, very sad lyrics. And the album ends with, I think, one of the saddest songs I think Elliott Smith wrote, called A Distorted Reality Is Now a Necessity to Be Free. And such a bleak ending to this album, but incredibly beautiful. We begin with this riff. I'm floating in a black balloon, oh, beyond Easter afternoon. My mama told me, baby, stay clean, there's no in between. All you ladies and you gentlemen, between's all you ever seen or been. Fit, poorly, and arranged, the sight, darn it up in virgin wine. You disappoint me. You people breaking in a new world. The devil's script said, you the heart of a blackbird. Shine on me, baby, 'cause it's raining in my heart, etc. Shine on me, baby, 'cause it's raining in my heart. Such a devastatingly sad lyric. It's part of a song that ends this amazing album, an amazing collection of albums. And I think From a Basement on the Hill is one of the truly great albums of recent times. So thanks for watching this, if you've stayed with me this far. I know most of you will disagree with my order of albums. That's the joy of music, isn't it? We can discuss and debate, but all about the wonderful legacy, a collection of songs of Elliott Smith. What a great thing to talk about. Thanks for watching. Bye.